Josh of Aim to Travel here, sitting here with Chris Sandeman, and he has been gracious enough to let me stay in his flat in Barcelona, Spain. I know he's been traveling a lot lately.
It's great to be here in Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
Michigan.
But Chris has a great concept for tours that he's been doing throughout Europe, and just wanted to take a minute, kind of let him talk about exactly what he's doing and educate those who aren't familiar with his company on what they do.
Well, I appreciate that, and it's a pleasure to have you. Of course, you're an easy person to host. I'm looking forward to having you come visit with us in Prague and Berlin too, I hope. For those out there who aren't familiar with free walking tours, I have the dubious honor of having been the first person to stumble upon the concept of free tours. Now there's over 300 companies worldwide doing free walking tours. And we operate Sandeman's New Europe, or SNE as we call it now, in 18 cities ourselves around Europe, Israel, now also in New York, with Lisbon and Seville opening up very soon. And in the beginning it was no grand concept or big business plan 10 years ago. I simply was working in Berlin. I wanted to stay. I'd lost my work as a guide there and decided that I was desperate enough to do something crazy and just go out and work for tips.
Funny how that works sometimes.
You know, sometimes it's necessity that really is the mother of all invention. And I needed rent money. So I thought to myself, well, I'm going to go stand where people gather for walking tours, and I'm going to hold up a sign that says free tour, come with me. Didn't work at all. No one came. People would just keep walking by, like, who's that nut with the free tour sign? And
was it cardboard or?
It was, I think it was a piece of paper with it drawn out on it for free tour, and then that was taped to cardboard.
Oh, there you go.
The next day I was like, that looks cheesy, so I actually printed it out on printer paper and then taped it to cardboard.
Step it up a little.
Yeah. It's kept evolving. By the end of the second week and not getting anyone on tours, I went around to some of the hostels. And hostels always, of course, are thinking in a different way. They're not thinking just about, what can we sell to people, what kind of commissions we can earn, like many hotels do. They're thinking, how can I make the best experience here that people will, recommend me on one of the different booking sites, and I'll see some business. So we went to them and said, how about you guys promoting a free walking tour? And eventually a group said yes. And before I knew it, there were people showing up on the tours, and we were giving them free walking tours, and they were loving it. And what I noticed about the free tours was two things. At first, the customers that were coming on the tours were people that usually would never do walking tours. Those are for tourists, not for me, or I don't want to get ripped off, or the fear that comes into travel for a lot of people, and they were not typical tour takers. And then at the same time, I also noticed that my tours that I was giving suddenly got so much better than they used to be. Because before I was kind of doing my job and doing a good job, but then suddenly, like, I really depended upon people's tips.
Right.
And if I had a crap day and I wasn't doing a good job, then people didn't tip me. And if I didn't have the group and wasn't entertaining and informative, then a lot of people would walk away. So very quickly, I got better, and also ended up getting a lot of people on tours that usually don't come on tours. And the thing that I remember from the beginning, when we were first starting, which people would say again and again, was they were so thankful, but not thankful for the walking tour itself, but thankful for the trust. They showed so much gratitude that we had simply, as an organization, were saying, look, don't pay anything if you don't want to. It's not a money-back guarantee. It's a don't pay anything unless you want to guarantee. And people just felt like we had empowered them, that we'd given them a lot of respect, put the decision back in their hands. And for that, they thanked us not just by tipping, but also by telling lots and lots of people about it. So, totally unexpected, with no plan behind that. Within 6 weeks, it was the largest walking tour company in the city of Berlin. Within 6 months, we had more than 50% of the market share, meaning that over half the people that were doing walking tours in Berlin were coming on a free tour with me and the other guys.
6 months.
Within just 6 months. Against a competition that had been there for 12, 15 years. And we just absolutely opened it up. And they came and they were so pissed off. And they're like, you guys are stealing the market, you're destroying tourism, and this, that, and the other thing. And I said to them, I said, well, look, don't get me wrong, but I've been spying on your tours and counting your numbers, and they're not going down. I'm like, have you lost customers? And they're like, no, we're making more money than ever right now. And I'm like, so what are you complaining about? And they just couldn't get into their head that there are people out there who have already chosen to go and do a tour, and they often go with those traditional companies. Right. The people that...
You're creating a new market.
It was a new market.
Stealing theirs.
That was exactly it. And you fast forward 10 years now, we're doing not the 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 people a day. We're now doing 3,000 to 3,500 people a day. And this year, with our New York expansion, we should reach 2 million souls, 2 million people this year on tours.
There's about probably 35 or so on the one I did earlier today.
Afternoon tour? Mm-hmm. Yeah, afternoon tours tend to be a little bit smaller than morning tours, but that's great. You know what I mean?
It was a great crowd.
I mean, it's not about the numbers of people that go into the books, it's about the numbers of people who look at travel and look at tourism in a different way.
Right.
You know, and I think that I think that often when you're an independent traveler, you're so married to the idea of doing it yourself that a lot of travel related services kind of feel unappealing to you because you want to be independent, you want to go your own way. But what I really yell out to independent travelers is go on a free walking tour. Because first of all, you can leave whenever you want to, so you're still independent, you're doing your own thing. But secondly, the tour guide who's out there, who's doing the tour, even if the history is not your thing, or the meeting other people and coming together with strangers isn't your thing, because you're really doing it on your own, to be able to go to a guide and just say, hey, tell me, what's the restaurant that I want to go to tonight?
Right.
It's not the Hard Rock Cafe. Where do the students go? Where do you go? Where's cheap? What's good? What's special tonight? To be able to have someone who's local, who lives there, and either is a local or an expat that's lived there for a long time themselves, I think it's super invaluable for travelers to have that resource.
And even as an independent traveler, it's nice to kind of travel on your own and that sort of stuff. What I've found is it's nice to just have somebody to talk to every once in a while. You get tired. It's great, making your own decisions, but after a while, it's like, man, I'd love some great conversation. And I found a lot of that today on the tour.
Well, you're staying with us right now, but often the people that are on the tour are staying in hostels. And they find that going on the walking tour is when they actually meet the people that are in their hostel. They don't meet them at the bar in the hostel or in the common room, the Wi-Fi, because they're doing their own thing. But suddenly they have a shared experience and they're all on this tour together. And then it's like, where are you staying? Or weren't you on the pickup at the hostel before? Yeah. And then they create those relationships and keep on traveling. That's one of the great things about it, right? Is to when you travel, you don't meet people from where you're from. You meet people from all over the place.
Exactly.
And I've got, as you do, the more you travel, you get invitations to stay everywhere. There's basically not a country in the world where I don't have someone's email that I can go and crash on a sofa if I need to.
Exactly.
And that's pretty special. It makes you realize exactly how big the planet is, but how small it can be once you have a connection to other individual people. So
it's a great thing. So, well, thanks so much for your time. And
my pleasure.
Love what you're doing. It's absolutely mind-blowing concept. I'm glad it's taken off like it has, and I look forward to watching it in the future.
Very much appreciate it. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks.